Yo, what's up? And today we're going to be reacting to 1,000 players build massive civilization in Minecraft. I get this video is a little old. I think it's like 3 years, right? But who cares? I haven't seen it. I was told that these are good videos. I always wanted to check them out, but I never got a chance. I know there's like a part 2 that came out, I think, earlier this year, maybe like 10 months, I think it was like 10 months ago, because I was looking at both of them, right? And when there was a part 1, and I'm the type of person, even if part 1 and part 2 don't relate, I gotta watch part 1. And we're not doing this for like likes or anything like that. I just want to entertain a couple people. And if I know a couple people are entertained, that's all that matters, okay? So if you guys like this style content, I don't care about reacting to anything, lore, videos, whatever. Whatever you want, we just chillin', okay? So that's what I'm basically saying is, it could be like 3, 5 years old, who cares? We're just having fun. And this is gonna be good practice for the second part of this video, because if you guys wanna see the second part, it's like 2 hours, and I'm a Yapatron 5000, so I'm not gonna try to pause it as much, and all of that jazz. So yeah, let's just jump straight in.
In Minecraft, I scattered 1,000 people across 4 massive islands to simulate a realistic civilization. The players were given no help or guidance, and just like in real life, if you die, you remain dead forever.
I didn't know.
Now,
I didn't know there
player
were,
has the freedom to do whatever they want.
I didn't know there were polar bears in Minecraft. Like, it's been a while since I played.
Gather resources, join a society,
it's
become a
basically,
dictator,
last time I played,
or if it comes down to it,
sheep
go
didn't
to
have
war.
meat. You know what I mean? Like, it's been
so
a while,
many people on each island, anything can happen. But I can promise you one thing. This event ended up having the most entertaining story arc I've ever seen. You do not want to miss this. So pick a nation to root for and enjoy the video. I present to you the 1,000 player civilization experiment. Don't forget, if you want to participate in these videos, join my Discord server, and of course, subscribe to my channel. All right, everyone ready to be teleported? Jump if you're ready. Okay, here we go.
What do you think you would do? Do you think you would try to team up with a lot of people? Because I feel like you're gonna get part of like the majority of the story. So basically, I kind of talked to my buddy about this like earlier today, because we were discussing best Minecraft videos. And he was like, oh, well, there's like a certain story part of it, and like everyone else just kind of filler characters. Because I was like, oh, is it just like following a bunch of people? Because 1,000 sounds like a lot. And he's like, no, it's like an actual story arc. And I was like, okay, so would you rather be in the like story arc or be till day 7? Because I feel like if you're part of the story arc, you're getting into more like fights and things like that. So you're gonna die most likely. And imagine dying on day 1, that would suck.
Oh, I'm in.
On day 1, all 1,000 players were teleported to their islands, each its own biome. We had plains, desert, snow, and jungle.
This is huge.
Most players spent the first day scouting their island, searching for a place to settle, but almost immediately we started to see people dying, and oddly they were all coming from the snow island. It turned out people were freezing to death after getting stuck in powdered snow, which looks exactly like regular snow but sucks you in like quicksand.
When did that happen? I didn't know that was a feature in Minecraft. And also, I do wonder, right? Can they stream and like film videos? Because I'd assume that these videos take the one dude, like this channel-ish, I think it was, forever to put together. I'm not gonna lie, like these videos you have to take what, 1,000 perspectives and then like find who's part of the certain stories and like what do you want to keep in, what do you want to keep out. And my biggest question is like, can you stream and like film yourself during these things? Because obviously you don't want to spoil his video. I don't know, let me know.
Oh no. Even worse for the poor people on the snow island, trees were almost nowhere to be seen. The desert island also had very few trees, which players needed if they wanted to get wood. But the places where players did find trees quickly became extremely valuable hotspots for groups to settle at and colonize. Look at all these people coming together. Community crafting. They're making progress. Meanwhile, the people on the jungle island had essentially unlimited trees and were thus already thinking about other things. What did you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna predict that the the jungle island's gonna be like so overpowered. They've got like access to so much wood compared to like desert and the winter biome. Again, it's been so long since I've actually played Minecraft myself. And so I don't know about like the trees and things, but just jungle, you have access to water and wood. I just feel like it's kind of overpowered. And just the mining in general, because on like the sand biomes and snow biomes, if I remember right, half of what you're mining is sand or snow.
Our plan was
I'm gonna take over the world. This is my right-hand man.
Darbo.
Well, that
Hello,
guy might be the
right-hand man
villain.
Don't
Darbo.
talk to him. He doesn't speak.
While having a lot of trees did seem like an advantage at first, many jungle people found the island to be difficult to traverse, given the immense amount of trees and the hostile mobs that would spawn on the surface due to lack of sunlight. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This fear of traveling also made it more difficult for jungle people to talk with each other, since players could only read chat messages from people 100 blocks away from them or less. Although frankly, at least they didn't have to see what me and the admins were looking at. Lastly, we get to the Plains Island, and boy,
Yeah, navigating that and like finding who you're gonna team up with must be miserable now that I think about it. That would be terrible, dude. Because what? 250 a team? Imagine trying to figure out, well, I guess they're not team, they're just on the same biome, right? I don't know. How does that work? Are they teams?
was it different from the others? It truly was just the perfect island to live on, with green grass, trees, animals, and no natural dangers. This guy's making a little animal family.
Yeah, now that I think about it, Plains
Not
biome
needing to
might be
worry
the
about
best.
dying
Not
as
gonna
much as
lie.
everyone else, the people on the Plains Island were among the first to start mining for resources like iron or diamonds. They were also the first to build up villages and, yes, to create civilizations. Throughout the first day, you could see two main groups starting to come together. One of them a democracy led by a player named Horace Crown.
Our aim is building the most beautiful and nicest city on the entire server.
And the second, also a democracy led by a player named Sidefall.
I just want to make sure nobody dies.
It was actually kind of odd how similar these two civilizations were. They were both located on the southern shore, they both had democratic elections, and their leaders both wanted good for their own people. I just hope nothing
Why don't
happens
they
to
team
change
up?
that.
Yeah, why don't they team up? Because if they're essentially the same country, can't they just run against each other? Winner take all type thing, and then other one's vice president, I guess? Or vice whatever.
Ish, I'm gonna make an Among Us character.
Never mind, I hope they die. Soon it was the end of day one. Players across all 4 islands logged off and made plans for the following day.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have the dedication, because I feel like you have to have mad dedication if you got accepted into one of these, right? Like, you gotta get on right at start and then play till the end if you want to have any progression.
It was on day 2 when civilizations really began to thrive. In the southeast corner of the desert, what used to be an empty patch of grass was turning into the desert's largest nation. Hello, good sir.
Yo, what's up, Ish? The Sultan is back.
You might recognize the player storming hell from my first civilization video where he led a nation called the Sultanate. Well, now the desert dictator is back with the Sultanate 2.0, and this time with the population.
Not gonna lie, I like the Sultan. Okay, so just so you know, I will probably root for like the villain or just like the person that has the most aura. I'm that type of person. I'm not gonna lie. I root for the villain. Okay, so if that's not your type of person, well, I don't root for the villain always. If it's a good villain, yes. Sometimes villains could sway me. So just so you know, if you expect me to root for the good guy, that might not happen.
Of over 100 people.
I want to
I will say the Sultan's the most interesting so far.
maintain order and peace in the desert.
The rules, as established by the Sultan, included wear proper attire, do not eat pork, complete your mandatory work, and most importantly, acknowledge the Sultan as the supreme and divinely chosen leader. Moving on, since
He's kind of got aura, not gonna lie, kind of sick.
it was still hard to get food in a dry climate, the people of the Sultanate focused on developing different types of food production, like fishing in the surrounding ocean. On top of this, a player named Drip Chicken made a chicken market, although when I checked it out myself, it turned out to be a very different type of market.
Welcome to Los Pollos Hermanos.
Thank you.
Would you like some totally legal sugar?
Anyway, we finally go back to the snow island. As I was flying around,
Bro,
I
not
found
Las Pollos Hermanos. We got Gus Fringe over here.
what I can only describe as a British shrimp. Is the cold climate really the best place for a shrimp?
I mean, depends. Look at my little friend over here, you know?
He's a British
Wait, who's your
shrimp?
friend? Underneath?
Yeah, he's fully here. He's literally
Oh.
he's chilling.
Oh, he's up here now.
No, my fish buddy. Please go back down.
Despite the killer powdered snow and the occasional polar bear, the people on the snow island were actually doing pretty well building settlements together. Nobody was fighting because everyone had one common enemy, the harsh climate. That being said,
That's kind of a good thing, though. When you think about it, like, you got plains and jungle, who I'm sure, like, have so many resources, they're gonna, start fighting amongst each other because at the end of the day, what is there to do? But if you're just trying to survive, and I didn't know that things like frostbite and stuff were in Minecraft, but like you got polar bears, frostbite, I highly doubt you're gonna fight amongst each other.
it turned out that all of these snow settlements might be a bit more than just little communities. On day 2, rumor was getting out about a conspiracy that, despite them all being spread out across the entire island, a lot of these snow settlements were actually all being run by one single person whose goal was to unify the entire snow island under one mighty empire.
We got Madara Uchiha. Not gonna lie, depending on like how this is, this might be sick. If he's like the type where he isn't like be seen, you know what I mean? Like has the master plan while ruling these things, that'd be kind of cool. If he's like governing all of the other nations and they don't know it. You know what I mean?
This person's name was Alanulo, and he was running this entire empire recruitment operation from an underground bunker where he felt he was safe for the time being. Essentially what he would do was hold meetings with people who were already leaders of their own settlements and convince them to merge their civilizations with his empire so they would be stronger together. He would give these leaders orders to fulfill, and in exchange,
if he's the type that's like just trying to hide himself because he's scared, I don't like that type of villain. But if he's like a master manipulator type, I could rock with that. It depends on the type of villain we're rocking with.
they would
But the Sultan's #1 for me right now.
be guaranteed high-ranking positions in the Empire.
Okay, I kind of like
If
that.
this
Kind of like
empire
that. That's kind of
actually
tough.
succeeds in uniting all 300 people on the Snow Island, it would easily become the most powerful nation in the world. In fact, it would be bigger than the Sultanate and the two Plains democracies combined. Will this ambitious plan actually succeed? Let's see what happens in the following days. We've now covered the politics of every island except for the jungle, so what's going on here? Well, quite frankly, I had no freaking idea. It was chaos. There were about 30 different camps and tribes spread out across the entire island, and a lot of them were in constant fights with each other. What is going on? There's a fight here. Here's a tribe that imprisoned
Why are they fighting amongst each other? Like, if you're part of the jungle in Plains, I feel like there should be no reason to fight amongst each other. Because you guys could have sick gear and just go take over another country. See, that's why I'm rooting for, that's why I'm probably gonna root for the villain guys. Because that's how I am when I play Minecraft, right? I get so bored. I got extreme ADHD. If there is too much peace when we're playing Minecraft, someone's about to get hit with my diamond sword, and if they beat me, I'm gonna come back with an iron sword, and I'm basically gonna come at them until one of us quit. That's how I've always played Minecraft. It's toxic, sure, But I'm a toxic Minecraft player, don't get me wrong. That's why my cousin doesn't play with me anymore.
One of their own members for being, quote, too rich.
I say we tax him and then let him out of jail. Well,
Damn boots, take your shoes.
So overall, there was chaos, nobody trusted one another, and to add to this, nobody wanted to travel too far into the jungle because they were scared of rogue tribes and especially hostile mobs. In fact, we actually had to
Rogue
remove
tribes?
creepers on day 3 because they were killing too many people.
Whoever asked.
Now, there were actually 2 tribes that were considered the most influential in the jungle. The first, a river-based settlement called the Sea People, whose leader was
That's
killed
pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie. The Sea People might have the best construction we've seen so far.
almost immediately by a random rogue tribe. The new leader, Yeetspeak, dedicated his rule to maintaining order, but also to keeping his people happy by setting up events like stand-up comedy nights.
I got a few jokes about unemployed people. Oh wait, none of them work.
The second
Yeah,
influential
that's
tribe
good.
was located in the
That's
dead
really good.
center of the
I'm
jungle,
not gonna lie.
and it was one of
That's kind of the best thing. I would love to like set up. That's what I would want to do. Okay, I would, if it were me, I'd want to join one of those servers and do something stupid like stand-up comedy or like Los Polos Hermanos, and then just peace on like day 3.
Here to be a faction revolving around the worship of a player named Seth. Hello, Mr. Seth.
Oh, what's up, bro?
Oh, this is just creepy. You're telling me this isn't a personality cult?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. It's a way of life, all right? It's a religion.
Lastly,
Seth
as
is
I was
a-
flying
oh,
around,
wow.
I happened
It's
to
way
run
alive,
into
huh?
this guy again.
I'm gonna take over the world.
Believe it or not, he had actually become the leader of a pretty impressive settlement. Granted, there was a lot of internal
might take
drama
over the
in
world,
his
guys.
tribe.
Do you see this like really cool tower thing that we're building here?
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. It's really cool, isn't it? And do you see our farm over there? It looks really cool and nice. Now come over here. Could you tell us what this is?
In short, 2 of Wazik's tribe members built a librarian's tower, and he thought it was ugly and wanted to burn it down. Now, when I talked to the librarians, they said Wazik just doesn't like the library because he's illiterate. As I said, drama. Now, the jungle...
Wazok, burn it down because they're in your tribe. They do not take that disrespect. Are they gonna come in your tribe and disrespect you? I'm sorry, right? We just have fun, okay? We have fun, guys. Don't take us serious.
wasn't the only place having problems. The Plains
That's the
Island
problem,
was seeing
is I
both a
am
surge
way
in
too,
development. This whole place is
just
awesome,
chaotic
but also
to be on a
rise
server like
in
this.
tension. The leader of one of
I'd
the
get
Plains
taken out real
democracies,
quick.
Horace Crown, had found out that the other Plains nation, run by Sidefall, had reached out to the Snow Island looking for potential alliances. Horace Crown did not like that Sidefall was reaching out to other islands instead of reaching out to him, so he quickly established his own alliance with 2 other Plains settlements, both located on the east side of the island.
I don't like that, right? Horace Crown, at the end of the day, it's none of his business. I get they're in the same nation, but at the end of the day, they're different countries. Like, they're in the same massive body, but they're different countries. You should have no say over what your other country is who they're allying with. That's kind of on him. If he starts a war, nah, I don't like that. That's wild. That's wild.
Island, which would essentially cut off Sidefall's access to most of Plains if a war were to break out.
We think Sidefall is definitely up to something, and we're planning to stop him.
The people living on the Plains Island, who had otherwise taken their peaceful lives for granted, were getting very worried about a potential massive war that would devastate their homes.
Here in KFC, we want family, not war.
Meanwhile, on the desert island, the Sultan storming hell was not happy when he discovered that a group of mountaineers had made their home on the mountains surrounding the Sultanate. So, the 2 groups had a meeting to discuss this dispute over land.
Why does the Sultanate have any more right to a plot of land?
Simply, might makes right. We're stronger, so if it comes down to it, may the stronger group win.
He ain't wrong, though. Might does sometimes make right, especially in Minecraft. At the end of the day, I'm just saying, don't mess with the Sultan. If they mess with him, that's kind of on them. He made it very clear, do not disrespect him. And what are they trying to do? They're disrespecting him.
People in the desert were starting to get worried about Storming Hell's tyrannical nature, so some of them moved to a quickly growing democratic nation on the other side of the island. This was Theria, the name derived from the Greek word for freedom. I asked their elected president, Saps, about the Sultanate.
Hopefully we can establish some peaceful relations for now. I mean, we're in the middle of a desert. Why fight, you know?
Overall, each island had its own conflict between
I don't
the
think that's
desert's
gonna go well
Sultan
with the
dominance,
Sultan.
the plains' alliance disaster, the jungle's total chaos, and the Snow Empire's takeover. At least one of these conflicts was...
Yo, did you see how big of Elanulo's head? Sorry if I'm not saying that right. Bro might have, they might have the most united nation, especially if the people do not know he's like the president. If they think they're reporting to their own president and Elanulo is directing this whole thing, yo, that's kind of crazy.
Bound to erupt very soon. And that conflict.
So I got Sultan
was
number
plains.
1, Elanulo number 2
At the beginning
right
of
now
day
for me.
4, a propagandist told everyone that Sidefall was about to attack
Propagandist?
the Plains Island. Horus Crown called a code red, and everyone on Plains was freaking out, including these guys at the center of the Plains Island who built a tavern on a lake. I spoke with the bartender.
Welcome to the tavern. I hope you can enjoy a nice beer, since it might be our last.
Yeah,
So at
I like
point,
this
you're
guy.
probably
He's funny.
wondering, what was Sidefall actually doing? Well, it turns out Sidefall was just as confused as everyone else, since he had no plans to attack anyone. The propagandist had lied.
I have no clue what these guys are talking about. I don't want to attack anyone. I don't want a civil war.
You were framed. I can't believe it. So now, both sides were gearing up for a war over nothing but a miscommunication. And all throughout, Sidefall was desperately trying to reach out to the other Plains leaders, saying that he didn't want war. The other leaders doubted him, but they actually agreed to meet with him as long as they met on neutral ground.
Whoever told you guys I want war is lying.
Tell us the truth then.
While they talked, Horus Crown secretly had undercover spies search Sidefall's entire village, but he wasn't aware Sidefall had someone else place a bunch of TNT under his village. But
Yo, Sidefall, chill, buddy. You're supposed to be this like chill dude that's like, oh, I don't want war, and then he's having someone plant TNT. See, that's my thing, right? Is I do like a villain. Don't get me wrong. But I don't like a person that like is gonna go out there and be like, oh, I want peace, and then try to, oh, well, it was justified. I'm still the good guy. No, if you're bad, claim that.
before things went too far,
Folks, we have a peace deal.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
by the thinnest of margins, crisis was averted. After talking, the leaders had made a peace treaty. I actually didn't get to see much of the meeting, but here's essentially what happened. Sidefall first apologized to the other Plains leaders for not being open with them, specifically about his relationship with the Snow Island. He told them he had only reached out to Snow in hopes to get on the good side of a player named A Freakin' Turkey, who was apparently Elanulo's second in command. The Plains leaders discussed their disagreements on foreign relations, Horus Crown preferring keeping alliances within Plains.
Do they know that Elanulo is the ruler of the kingdom? Because like he said, he was like a shadow government. So, I don't know. That's interesting.
And Sidefall believing in making allies on other islands, but they were able to put their differences aside. They banished the propagandist from the Plains Island, and at the end, the 4 major Plains nations created
I
a
do love
great
that there was a
Plains
propagandist, don't get me
alliance.
wrong.
The Plains Island went from being on the brink of war to
See, that's something I would do. Not gonna lie. I would love to just start chaos. Being a propagandist might be my thing I'd do. That's the best one.
being the most united island of all. And it wasn't just Plains. Toward the end of the day, all 4 islands were prospering. From the people on Snow collecting resources and building together, to the people in the desert working on the Sultan's
I feel like the
project, which was
desert,
to create a massive
the desert
holy
is gonna
city.
be the biggest.
Even the jungle was at peace.
The desert is gonna be the biggest civil war we're about to get soon. Just because you have a democratic nation versus the Sultan, and I don't see them beating the Sultan. Let's be honest. But it's gonna come to a collision. You can't have one or the other.
at the end of day 4, since the remaining jungle people were just thankful that they were still alive. Soon though, it was the next day, but before we let people back onto the server, the admins and I decided to add a little something. We added a 5th island in the center of the world, and we didn't tell the players that we did this. We wanted to see who would discover the island, how long it would take to find, and then what would happen next. So we started up the server, and the wait began. But
my question is, how do they... I don't want to pause it, but how do they communicate with each other? That's what I'm saying. Like, how do they communicate with each other?
Turkey.
Or, like, meet each other,
How's
really?
it going?
On day 5, the player A Freakin' Turkey finally gave me a full explanation of the mysterious Snow Empire, which I found out was named the Aculon Empire.
That's
Still
cold.
fearing for his
That
safety,
is so
the
cold.
Empire's founder, Olanulo, gave orders entirely from his secret underground bunker, while his second in command, A Freakin' Turkey, carried out his orders and led the people on the ground. You guys have settlements across the entire island.
There is a lot. Just know none of it was made by slaves.
The Empire relied on strict order to
Hey, you don't have to put that into the description, because normally if you say that, that makes people think something. Okay, dude, right?
Peace.
They seem pretty united, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Were each assigned a
I feel
daily
like the
job,
snow
like
might be
mining, or
hot take. I feel like the snow might be more united than the plains, just because of what he said earlier. Since there's so much like hardship in the Snow Island, you're gonna be so united after that. They probably don't even know Iwanulo is a person yet.
fighting, and whenever they were online, all citizens were required to be in 2 Discord voice channels at once, which I didn't even know was possible. Also, the Aculon Empire made it a point to document everything, including its list of members, its hierarchies, its physical landmarks, but what I found most impressive was the high-level operation going on in this seemingly regular building.
Iwanulo might be the coldest character so far. Bro has literally established, like, king, duke, prince, a full establishment. No, this is so organized. Not gonna lie, sick. This is sick stuff.
Richest place in the entire server.
They called this the Quartermaster's House, and it was where the Aculon Empire not only collected and stored all its resources, but also distributed items using a complex request system, where, for example, a citizen asks for iron ingots, and then the Quartermasters decide exactly how much iron that citizen deserves, based on a detailed algorithm
That's
they
really
developed.
cool.
Has anyone tried breaking into this
Because
place?
now...
Not yet. Let's just say, if you try...
There's a distributed amount, so we all work together. You get approved for a building. I kind of like that. It's definitely wrong in some scenarios, but in Minecraft, it's fine.
To get in without permission, you're not going to get a very nice welcome.
And I kid you not, just a few minutes later, this player, Xelius, was caught trying to sneak his way in, and he was sentenced to a public execution to be held the next day. Things are kind of strict around here, huh?
As long as they don't take away my squid, I'm a happy man. Oh man, look at him.
The Snow Island continued to be hyper-vigilant about criminals, but so were other
I think my
nations,
favorite
like the
subplot
Desert
is the
Sultanate, which
British
made an inescapable prison. He is surrounded by lava. Or Wazak's nation in the jungle, which made a giant sand trap. Oh, this is evil.
Just you wait until we have a nice little deliberation with something.
Yeah, I'm gonna be put to death, you know. Like
he genuinely might be. He might be the final villain because he said he wanted to take over the world. Now he's building some like hole trap that gets you insta death. This is crazy work.
Even planes didn't feel exactly safe, as this self-described capitalist nation made a giant wall to protect its people.
We want to make sure that communists cannot take this away from us.
But as I was talking to these guys, I got tipped off from someone in the desert that something big was about to happen. The Sultanate army's on the move. The Sultan had sent his elite squad on a secret nighttime mission. Their goal? To find a group of people that had been rumored to want...
Did he put an assassination in? I'm sorry, the Sultan's so cool. Like, I'm going back and forth on who I like more, the Sultan or the Ilanulo. Right now I'm leaning the Sultan though.
To assassinate the Sultan. They're at the north side of the island now.
Because I don't know if the people that like really good system that the Snow Kingdom has, I really don't think that it was just Iwanulo who set that up. If it was, then hats off to you. But like, I doubt it was, right? But it is cool though that he's got like the King of the North vibes going on.
Okay, let's go.
You watch Game of Thrones?
According to the Sultan, the people hiding in this little settlement were indeed the attempted assassins, and now the group had a decision to make.
Oh, we're gonna kill this guy.
Do we kill this guy?
Up until now, there hadn't been any violence between desert nations. Will this be the breaking point?
What did he expect? He went after the Sultan.
We are showing the desert that if you make plans to kill me, justice will come for you.
The Sultan's elite squad spent the rest of the night raiding the settlement, but during their chase of another suspected assassin, they ran literally into a major dilemma.
We know he is running to Theria.
The guy they were trying to kill was running toward the democratic nation of Theria to get asylum there. The Sultan is really about to roll up on Theria. Holy, this could cause a major conflict. But
at the end of the day, right, Theria should give the criminal to the Sultan, because it does not make any sense for a criminal that plotted an assassination attempt to go free. The Sultan rightly deserves him, right? I'm sorry. The Theria should have no ruling. They should give him up really, really quickly. They should extradite him immediately.
But the Sultan's army didn't care. They barged into Theria and searched every single house to find this one person who ultimately ended up getting away. Meanwhile, the people of Theria were freaked out by the raid, but when they looked to their leader Saps for guidance, he was nowhere to be seen. He had fled. Eventually, the Sultanate's army left, but Theria was not going to forget this.
You see this Saps guy. He doesn't have the aura like the Sultan, right? As soon as the Sultan showed up at his door, bro pieced. He left his nation. You think the Sultan would do that? No. Bro would stand firm.
By attempting to blow up the quartermaster's house, Zelius betrayed our people. And for this, he must die. Glory to Aculon.
Aculon's pretty tough too, though. Don't get me wrong. Aculon's tough.
It was a busy day for a freaking turkey. The execution was successful, but the Empire didn't yet have a written constitution or a justice system. So a freaking turkey met with a player who claimed to be a lawyer to set up a legal system.
You get the smaller seat, unfortunately, but do know it is quite important as well.
I'm used to cramming into tight spaces.
Afterward, a freaking turkey took his guard to Drew and confronted some farmers who he claimed weren't producing enough food for the Empire.
I swear I will not miss any payment I have to owe you.
Drew, the bow, please. I expect 5 stacks of bread delivered within 1 to 2 business days.
Even though he was a little tyrannical at times,
Bro, imagine if you didn't get that in time and that was your entire story on this video. That would so suck, dude.
Turkey was actually becoming very well liked in the Aculon Empire because he got things done and he was a charismatic speaker.
I don't think Alanya is
Fellow
gonna
citizens, it is my distinct honor to pronounce Steve and Pixel as husband and wife.
See, even though he was only the second in command of the Snow's Aculon Empire, many people were starting to view a freaking Turkey as a better candidate for leader than Alanulo, since most people in the Empire had never even seen Alanulo, given that he's been hiding underground the entire time, afraid of being assassinated. In fact, some of
I kind of like Alanulo. I can't tell if he's just a mad king, though. You know what I mean? Like the type that's like just so scared that he won't actually show himself. But I will say this, though. A freaking turkey, he's kind of stepping out of his bounds. If you're a right-hand man, do your deeds. But at the end of the day, you gotta be like, no, I'm not the leader. I'm not the leader, guys. That's Alanulo.
Some citizens weren't even sure he existed. While Alanulo ruled from afar, only talking with high-ranking officials, a freaking turkey was considered a man of the people, someone who talks to everyone. In fact, a freaking turkey had gained so much notoriety that leaders of other nations were starting to reach out to him for alliances rather than to Alanulo. So as a result of all of this, Alanulo was starting to get a little worried.
Not gonna
Turkey
lie.
knows that I created this empire and its entire political system.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're a freaking Turkey, you're kind of out of your bounds here. Because realistically, if you're a right-hand man, even if they're reaching out to you, you gotta direct it back to Olanulo. You can't just ditch your entire political system just because you're a man of the people. Sorry, can't do it.
And as long as I am alive, I will be its only ruler.
That's very funny.
Our monkey religion, we hold fast to.
Here on the Jungle Island, things haven't slowed down one bit. Amidst the chaos, this small group had made a...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, if you're like mad at me rooting for the villain, I just think like heroes are so boring. You know what I mean? Oh, we're fighting for good. But if I would so love to play the villain if this were me. If I was in this game, I would so love to play the villain. I don't have the attention span nor the Minecraft skills to do it. But if it were me, I'd love to play a villain. Because villains are just so much more fun. You know what I mean? And so much more interesting.
Monkey religion, and their goal was to build the biggest tree in the...
And real quick, I also hate when people take like villains way too serious. Like when I'll be like, oh, Mamoru Uchiha is one of my favorite Naruto characters, and people are like, oh, he was an awful person, yada yada. He isn't real. He's not real. The Sharingan is not real. And neither is Minecraft. So, chill.
Entire world.
The monkey never stops. While everyone else is fighting and killing each other, we are peacefully building.
By now, every tribe in the jungle seems to have its own goal. These guys, building a tree. This group, called the Blue Cross, provided food and shelter to refugees. Meanwhile, Wazek's goal, which was still to take over the world, was seemingly driving him mad, especially after the librarians built a second tower. You did this out of spite, didn't you?
Yeah.
Overall, it seemed like there was a lot on Wazek's mind.
This is wrong, not gonna lie. They're living in Wazek's nation, and they're just disrespecting him like this? That's crazy work.
And as if he was planning something big. Meanwhile, Seth and the Sea People were still the two biggest tribes in the jungle, and both pursued very innovative political strategies. For example, Seth got married, but only so he could parade around the jungle and demand wedding gifts from everyone. And you know what? It freaking worked. The Sea People, on the other hand, had taken on a massive goal, which was to finally end the chaos in the jungle. And they did this by sending out stealth groups and hunting down thieves, murderers, and anyone who they claimed did wrong. However, some of the supposed wrongdoers they killed were actually allies of Seth. In response...
In all fairness, though, I feel like you need to talk to, like, other leaders. If you're ruling a nation, you need to be like, hey, these are our wanted people. Tell us if they're if they're part of your nation, whatever. If you're not having communication, you're kind of the bad guy.
Seth demanded that the Sea People stop their initiative immediately, but the Sea People planned to continue. All of a sudden, the Jungle Island was on the verge of a massive war, as if there wasn't enough chaos already. Wait, is someone actually here?
I think so.
Oh, I forgot about the island they gave. Not gonna lie, do not report it. I would start my own nation. This is the perfect time to start a nation. You reach out to some stragglers amongst all the islands, get your own nation started up. You know what I mean?
On day 7, a player named the PeakyGinger discovered the secret 5th island. The island had a mysterious dead terrain, a small pre-built village in the center, and underground, it contained netherite, which is the strongest and rarest resource in the world. Now, PeakyGinger was a part...
So it's the only access to netherite? That's kind of overpowered.
part of Sidefall's nation in Plains, and he quickly alerted Sidefall about the very strange and unexpected discovery he just made. He's taking the blue lantern so people believe it. Guys, I'm not lying, there really is an island. 2 minutes later, another person found the center island, this time someone from the jungle. Then, like a domino effect, more and more people started arriving, typically either alone or in small groups like these guys from the desert. Even though they all came from different islands and nations, nobody was fighting. In fact, they seemed to be forming friendships and simply admiring this new mysterious place. He's saying this is amazing. Quickly, word began spreading across the world that there was a 5th island, and about 30 minutes into day 7, basically everyone knew. It was crazy how fast everyone found out. Now, some nations were
That's what happens when you report it, right? That's why you do not report these things. When you find it, you tell some of your boys and you be like, no, do not report anyone, right? We're gonna start up a new place here. We are claiming this as our land. Even if it's for your nation. I feel like telling people was kind of the mistake there.
Hesitant about visiting, believing that the island was some sort of trap, while other nations like the Aculon Empire sent out large exploratory groups to investigate the island. So Aculon is here, but instead of mining for netherite, they're taking the wool from the tents. Oh, they don't have sheep in the snow island. That makes sense. Something I found interesting was that no nation, not even the Snow Empire, had the courage to publicly claim the center island as part of their nation, as their territory, probably because it would result in conflict with other nations, which was my secret intention when adding the island, that it would cause some type of war. But it didn't cause a war, or maybe just not yet.
Well, I feel like once they find netherite, it will.
Meanwhile, I present to you the story of Los Pollos Hermanos. Wow, you've really expanded your business.
Yeah, we're doing quite well.
This is a really good side plot, not gonna lie.
Starvation was such a big problem in the desert. Drip Chicken had made it his life's mission to feed the people of the desert. And ever since I spoke with him on day 2 next to his little food stand, Los Pollos Hermanos had become a staple of the Sultanate. But this business would soon run into some problems. See, on days 4 and 5, the Sultan storming hell was unsatisfied with the slow progress on his build project, the Holy City. So he demanded that the farmers of the Sultanate stop growing food and instead work on his build project. And
Valid ask, like, if the Sultan wants something built, you gotta do it, you know? What are you gonna do? You're living in his nation. What are you gonna do?
just like that, the food supply going into Los Pollos Hermanos had completely stopped. The restaurant suddenly had no food available to sell. Having no food, Drip Chicken was instead forced to sell some questionable products, and if he was caught selling these products by either the Sultan or the
because they got illegal food and stuff over there. You can't be doing that, brother.
Sultan's twin guards, he would probably receive a life sentence in the Sultanate prison. Meanwhile, the farmers of the Sultanate were unhappy since they wanted to farm, not be forced to build. So in a rebellious move on day 5,
pork, right?
Drip Chicken and the farmers secretly set up a meeting with Saps, the leader of Theria.
I know you want to move to Theria, but if you do, the Sultan will send his elite squad to hunt you down.
So, what do we do?
Go to Plains or something. There's about to be chaos in the desert.
And Saps was correct. There was about to be chaos in the desert, for reasons he couldn't tell the farmers just yet, but he did tell me.
You know who Davert is?
Yeah, I think so. He's one of the twin guards, right?
He's about to leave the Sultanate and join me.
Really? The two people the Sultan trusts.
Saps can't even, like, go one-on-one with the Sultan. So he's taking one of his guards? Nah, this is wrong. This is wrong on so many levels, dude. We can't be doing that. This is underhanded play, right? You want to call the Sultan a bad dude. However, you don't see the Sultan going after the inner circle of Theria. No.
the most are his two twin guards, the brothers Davrit and Zamta, but one of them had grown tired of the authoritarian and warmongering ways of the Sultan. So Davrit had reached out to the leader of Theria, and together they created the single craziest plan I have ever heard, and this was it. First, Davrit leaves the Sultanate to join Theria. Next, the Sultan finds out about the betrayal and sends his elite squad to kill Davrit. Then, when the elite squad is away hunting for Davrit and the Sultan is therefore alone, Davrit will sneak back into the Sultanate and kill the Sultan.
I don't see Davrit beating the Sultan in a one-on-one fight. Sorry, no, because you're not the Sultan if you can't fight. And at the end of the day, this is kind of wrong. See, you don't see Saps doing this. Saps is kind of a grifter, not gonna lie. He's like, oh, I'm a good guy. And yet he's organizing assassination plans? Is that really a good guy? You tell me.
Davrit will then claim leadership over the Sultanate, and as the new leader, he will finally bring peace to the desert.
It's a play for the crown. It has nothing to do with an authoritarian thing. He just wants the crown.
Davrit, there is no way this works.
Brother, grow some chest hair. Trust me, it'll work, alright?
So, at the end of day 7, Davrit snuck out of the Sultanate and headed to Theria to begin the operation, while Drip Chicken and the farmers fled to the Plains Island. On their way out, some of them took one final look back at their home, at their restaurant, knowing that they would probably never see it again, knowing that the story of Los Pollos Hermanos had come to an end.
That's kind of, I kind of like that ending for Los Pollos Hermanos. I might be on like the bad guy's side right now. However, right, Los Pollos Hermanos, I really like the subplot right there. That's good.
On day 8, there was a major event on the Snow Island. For the first time ever, Emperor Olanulo had come out from his underground bunker. He had summoned the entire Snow Island to the Aculon Castle so he could publicly be crowned as the leader. Before the coronation, all high-ranking officials were required to provide Olanulo a gift.
I present to you a high-quality pair of premium brand sneakers.
Thank you, Applewood.
I, Baron Saul Goodman, give you this present.
Baron Saul Goodman, right? The Snow Kingdom might be the best kingdom. I'm going back and forth, right? But the Snow Kingdom's pretty tough. They got Baron Saul Goodman. They got Olanulo and his shadow government. This is pretty tough.
Lord Olanulo, my presence is your present.
After the gifts, Olanulo asked his second-in-command, A Freakin' Turkey, to make a speech affirming Olanulo's undisputed leadership.
My friends, the Aculon Empire is the strongest nation in the world. Not because of one leader, but because of all of us.
Thank you, Turkey.
At the end of the ceremony, Olanulo asked all of his citizens to follow.
Interesting way to put it, not gonna lie. He didn't really crown Olanulo as king. I get, right, there's things that we probably didn't hear. I'm sure like their Discord was going off. However, it's a bit strange how he phrased that. I don't like it.
Him out of the castle down the main path of the empire in a symbolic move meant to showcase the unity of the Snow Island.
I was that one dude walking backwards. Did you see that?
But this image of unity was only a mirage. There was a lot of discontent building within the Empire for many reasons. People didn't like that Olanulo's knights were constantly bossing them around, nor did the Aculon builders like it when Olanulo forced them to work on the Aculon Castle instead of letting them finish their own projects. There was this general sense that Olanulo might be overreaching with his power, especially when he started spying on his own citizens to see who was criticizing his leadership. See, Olanulo believed that in order for
Well, why would they criticize the leadership? That's why I don't get it. Like, at the end of the day, that if you're getting spied on, you should not criticize the leader. And you guys are living in a brash country. Sometimes, look, you got riches for days. Do you think that would have happened without the very well-sorted government?
His citizens to have a good life, they have to live in a strong nation, and the only way to maintain a strong nation was through complete unity under a powerful and unchallenged leader. This is why Alanielo was fearful about the discontent within his nation, as well as the rising popularity of his second-in-command, a freaking Turkey.
Yeah, honestly, he should probably go after a freaking Turkey, not gonna lie, because this seems like it's close to a coup, where you have a political figure everyone likes, right? And then you have someone that everyone's blaming. They're probably blaming Alanielo for everything, right? They're going, oh, well, if a freaking Turkey was the leader, it'd be so much better. You need to do something about a freaking Turkey. That's what I would think. That'd be the only way.
Knowing that they were being spied on, many of A Freakin' Turkey's supporters were becoming scared living on the Snow Island, afraid that they would be executed for not supporting Alanielo's leadership. So, with the help of A Freakin' Turkey, plus another high-ranking official, its Ender, some Akulon citizens organized secret evacuations out of the Snow Island.
This is genuinely just treason at this point, because A Freaking Turkey, he didn't show any like traitorous things. Like, he showed a bit sketchy behavior, but this is genuine traitorous behavior now. He has helped people out of it. Say what you will, but A Freaking Turkey is now an enemy of the Akulon Empire. That's just how it is.
Underground tunnels, some of which led to Seth's nation in the jungle, others going to Sidefall's nation in plains. Both Seth
going to Sidefall is probably the toughest. You don't really want to go to the jungle. They got some crazy stuff going on over there. They got that one dude that's about to take it over with his little trap. Like, he's still planning on taking over the world. Heck, I still think he might be the villain of all villains.
Sidefall were very open to accepting refugees, especially those who opposed Alanielo, someone who they believed to be a dangerous tyrant. Also, they had just found out that Alanielo had actually sent spies all across the world, including into their own nations, so they didn't like him very much.
We're not going back until there's some.
Have they never heard a diplomatic? Like, he's just trying to see what's going on there, and they're accusing him as a tyrant. That's a big word to throw around. I'm throwing around the word tyrant. I don't like that. You know, if I was Alanielo, I'd be very offended. I'd be like, wow, you're calling me a tyrant? I didn't do anything to you. I sent some guy to establish diplomatic relations, and you accuse me of spying? Nah.
Form of democracy in Snow.
I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
Meanwhile in Plains, Mr. Turkey, are you starting a revolution?
No, I do not want a revolution. I just want to make sure Alanielo doesn't kill these people.
When are you going back to the Snow Island?
Probably tomorrow, because I'm gonna try and host a meeting with Alanielo. I just think he's gone too far.
So while A Freakin' Turkey stayed on the plains...
Yeah, he is doing a rebellion. This is one of those things where, oh, well, I just don't want these people to get hurt. And it's like, they support you, dude. If you supported Alanielo, you would have they would support Alanielo. But no, you want to it's one of those he wants to play for the crown. He has no interest in these people. He just wants to be the king of the Snow Island, and he won't say it. Akulon Empire. That's my hot take. You know, if you're watching this video and you might take me so seriously, and you're like, I don't understand why people get so angry about these things. It's just fun. It's just funner to be on the villain side because they're more interested. They genuinely are, you know?
Rest of the day, Seth and Sidefall created the first ever multi-island treaty. This treaty not only established Seth and Sidefall as allies, but it also declared their nations refugee states, ones that are willing to accept all people fleeing from dictatorial regimes like the Sultanate or the Akulon Empire. As for A Freakin' Turkey's position in the Akulon,
are they the bad guys? Because it sounds like to me that the Sultan and Iwanuo are trying to live their life, live in a very, very happy nation, and these people keep coming after them. They keep going after their citizens, trying to steal their citizens, and they're like, oh, well, we're the good guys. Are ya? Are ya? It seems like you're beefing with them. They don't have a thought about you. Interesting stuff.
An empire, he was still technically the second in command, but it was only a matter of time before Alanulo finds out about the missing citizens, and then it's very likely that Turkey will be stripped of his position or be kicked out of the Snow Island entirely and become a refugee himself. Yeah, I don't know if... Wait, is that a basketball court? On day 8, the center island was getting a lot of visits from curious players, and instead of fighting each other, everyone was just kind of hanging out and doing their own thing.
Look at this.
What is this? Don't question me. Later that night, some adventurers...
Yeah, we got the Bee Whisperer over here. I think he might be the final villain, not gonna lie, guys. Bro just had about 1,000 bees around him for no reason. Yo, don't they attack you? Not gonna lie, don't they attack you?
Started terraforming the dead terrain, making it green. This actually looks not bad. These guys, meanwhile, made a secret underground church, and they hosted many ceremonies and cultural events. What type of ritual is this?
Yeah,
now,
I don't
actually
think this is
attended
culture.
2
This
churches
might
on
just
day 8,
genuinely be
the
a
second
cult.
one inside Falls Nation, although I was very disturbed by the person sitting next to me.
Yo, I would be disturbed too. He's looking, he can see colors. My gosh. I meant he could see sounds, guys. Yeah, my bad. Oh, and if you made it to this far into the video, I greatly appreciate you. And if you have, please leave a comment down below. Just something random. Pikachu. Somehow work in the word Pikachu into your comments, okay? Or Pokemon, or anything. Wait, yeah. Comment down below who your favorite Pokemon is.
Pokemon are sacred. Only to impart the wonders they hold. I cannot say what they are.
Oh, and if you wonder why I keep alternating bottles, it's because I got water in this one, and I got caffeine in this one. But so, like, that's why I keep switching it. If you've wondered that for some reason.
Right away.
Don't think I'm weird, guys, okay?
Lead this
Whoa, what did I do?
They're taking him away. Oh no. Later that night, the Plains Island received an unexpected visit from the Akulon Empire's state-sponsored journalist. I'm with the news. Down with the news. Go away, tabloids. Go away. No false news today. They're kicking out the journalists. Oh my god. Meanwhile, I ran into these Plains farmers who...
So we just have a good, fair freelance journalist coming in here to ask some questions about the other countries, and yet they kick him out. And those are the good guys? They're the ones that are throwing around the words like tyrant when they won't even allow the free press?
Literally did nothing but plant wheat everywhere. Oh my god.
Look at all this freaking wheat.
Now, right next to the wheat field was a cookie factory in Horus Crown's nation, which took the wheat and made a variety of baked goods. See, ever since the Great Plains Alliance was signed on day 4, the people of Plains believed their island to be, for the most part, a very safe place to live, and as a result, many players felt secure enough to run their own businesses. There was the bakery, an Outback Steakhouse, boating and kayaking, 2 KFCs, and there was the most recent addition.
I like the boating and kayaking idea, but at the end of the day, would it actually work? Because at the end of the, like, in Minecraft, only one boat works, and that's that little tiny boat. Like, it's fun idea, but are you really gonna generate any money? Or diamonds or whatever?
Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yo, it's back! That's crazy!
You made one in the Plains biome?
Yes. Expansion.
Claiming refugee status, Drip Chicken and the Sultanate farmers received citizenship inside Falls Nation, where they were able to rebuild their famous restaurant, and the people of Plains welcomed the refugees with open arms. The only person who wasn't happy was the owner of KFC, who now had competition. Anyway, when word got out in the desert that Drip Chicken and the farmers had fled the Sultanate, as did Davrit, many loyalists in the Sultanate were furious with these betrayals. While the Sultanate was still the second most powerful nation in the world, the first being Akulon, these betrayals of the Sultanate hurt the Sultan's public image, and he feared being seen as weak by the world and by his own people. So predictably, the Sultan sent his elite squad out into the desert to try to find and kill both Davrit and Drip Chicken. But instead of staying home in the Sultanate, this time the Sultan traveled with his elite squad. This through a
They can't take him out because they thought he was gonna. So Davrit's is gonna show up and nobody's gonna be there. That's crazy.
Wrench into Davrit's assassination plan, and Davrit had no choice but to keep hiding underground until he saw an opportunity to strike. Meanwhile, the leader of Theria, Saps, was extremely worried because he knew that the fate of his nation and his people rested on this assassination attempt. If it succeeds and the Sultan is killed, well...
No, it's not the fate of his nation. It sounds like Saps is getting this guy to do his dirty work because he doesn't want to stand up to the Sultan. It's like, I understand. You know, Davrit's, say what you will about Davrit's, but at least he's doing something. But no, Saps is organizing this plan when he's kind of the bad guy. He's not doing anything. He's just hiding behind. And he was willing to throw away his nation. We saw that earlier. When the Sultan entered in, Saps didn't stick around to defend his nation and be like, hey, you can't be there. No, he peaced.
Then all is well, but if it fails, it will only be a matter of time before the Sultan finds out that Saps was behind the plan, and then there is no doubt that the Sultan will seek revenge and absolutely obliterate Theria, killing not just Saps, but all his people who, by the way, were entirely innocent. Saps purposefully didn't tell any of his citizens that he was involved in an assassination plot because they definitely wouldn't approve of something that puts them in such danger. All of this tension.
That's the thing, is Saps is not a good leader. I don't know why Theria is corrupt. Saps needs to turn himself in because he is putting Davrit, who thought he was gonna get like some immunity in Theria and he was gonna be okay, but no, Saps put him straight to an assassination play. That's insane, dude.
In the desert was really starting to get to some people, like this group, which made a giant lava wall around their civilization. They wanted nothing to do with the politics of the desert, and they were rather paranoid about everything.
The walls keep us safe. We can't leave the walls for long, because then we're not safe. Everyone inside the walls is safe, everyone outside is not safe. They're strangers, we shouldn't trust them. We got Attack on Titan going on over here, dudes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we have Wall Maria. Well, I hope we see more of this this nation. I like it. I do like a good like kind of crazy people. I like the chaotic what is it? Chaotic neutral? Chaotic. Yeah, I guess chaotic neutral, you could say, is they don't have any beef with anyone, but they're just chaotic for no reason. Oh, by the way, also don't push any buttons you find in here.
Okay.
Why?
I actually think this group was more of a cult than a civilization, but still, I think they had the right idea. And
yeah,
now
I
we
agree.
go back to the Jungle War. I say war because both major nations had already basically decided that they cannot coexist in the jungle. Seth was mad at the Sea People for killing many of his allies, while the Sea People were mad because Seth wouldn't let them kill those who they believed to be criminals. Neither nation was willing to compromise on this, so war seemed inevitable. However, because Seth had also recently formed an alliance with Sidefall from Plains, a war between the two jungle nations would likely cause Sidefall, as well as the rest of the Plains Island, to join the battle, thus turning this into an actual world war. So, given that the stakes were...
No, that's wrong, because at the end of the day, I see an argument on both sides with the Jungle Nation. Because you got one side that's like, hey, these are criminals. We see these people, they committed violent actions on day one. We should not excuse that. And say what you will, at least they're standing on their grounds. And Seth is like, oh, well, they were my pals. So I see an argument on both sides, but that definitely doesn't mean, like, I get an allyship means you could be brought in to it.
However, he shouldn't be, because there is no reason that it isn't 50-50.
So much higher now. Both sides agreed to have one final meeting to maybe work things out. It was Wazak who quickly offered his nation as a good neutral location for the meeting, and he was quite enthusiastic about hosting. On day 8, Seth and the Sea People sent their highest ranking officials to Wazak's nation, where the meeting would take place.
Alright, Seth, you're up first.
I think the Sea People are killing people for a lot of irrational reasons. So, you know, as an example, right? They had 5 stacks of cookies taken from them. That takes like 3 minutes to get, bro. And you like, I don't think you should murder someone over that.
So you're just promoting stealing, Seth? Seth, what's wrong with you? That's crazy. Like, he's promoting stealing? Yikes, dude.
Requested he give it back, and he basically said no, so he was put on KOS and we killed him.
So that was exactly what Seth just said.
Let me add some context, dude.
I mean,
soon the argument began to escalate.
And the people you attacked were direct allies.
I'm sorry, but what other ways do we have to stop the chaos in the jungle?
They stole. They didn't deserve to be killed over it.
Do you really want to go to war over this?
Well, if you keep killing our people, then we won't just stand by and watch.
Alright, fine. The Sea People declare war.
Alright, let's do it.
But before a fight could begin, Wazak yelled,
"Double, no!"
He did it! No! Bro, that's what I was looking for. I was talking about chaotic neutral. Nobody's more chaotic neutral than Wazak. Yeah, I like that guy. I like him.
Oh my god.
Go!
Wazak had just killed 7 people using his sand trap before getting away. Seth and the Sea People decided to put their war on hold and declared a unified worldwide manhunt for Wazak. Everyone was confused about why Wazak did this, but then I remembered something Wazak had told me the day before.
Listen, if the war breaks out, I have a plan to stop it.
Really? How?
Oh, you'll see, my friend.
When Seth and the Sea People declared war on each other, Wazak decided to use his sand trap and make himself the villain so that the entire jungle...
That's kind of noble. I was talking about good villains, but W Wazak.
Jungle would make peace to unite against him, therefore actually preventing a world war. Wazak is now hiding underground. After spending most of the previous day trying to hunt down his enemies, the Sultan storming hell decided to take a break from the hunt and attend a wedding hosted by a small neighboring desert nation. It was a huge honor in the desert for the Sultan to visit your civilization, so there was a lot of buzz surrounding the Sultan's visit, and everyone in the desert knew he would be there. Zamta the twin guard was also at the wedding, and he was quite thankful for the break since he secretly despised having to hunt for his own brother. When the Sultan demanded that Davert be tracked down and killed, Zamta was horrified by this order, but he kept silent, fearing that he'd be next.
Well, I feel like Zamta has to make a choice. He could either go with his brother or go with the Sultan. And did the Sultan ever wrong him? I don't know. But all I do know is that he's a vice admiral, right? And we got the Sultan here, who seems to be treating Zoltan, at least, and the 2 brothers very good. So, who knows? I don't know. I really don't know who he'll side with.
Zamta could only hope that Davert was far away now, hiding in a place where the Sultan would never find him. But it turned out Davert was not far away at all, because he was on a mission. He's actually here. Davert was coming to kill the Sultan, but he had to be sneaky because the Sultan was guarded by his elite team. The plan was to catch him and his team off guard since it would only take a few hits to kill him.
He should have guards though, no?
So nervous right now. Did the wedding end? The wedding's over. He's leaving. Oh, he's leaving. Oh, Davert! Holy crap! Oh! He's hit him so many times! Wait, Storming's getting away? The elite team is on Davert big time! Oh! Oh! Oh, he's getting close! He's getting close! Oh, he turned around? Holy crap, everyone's here! This is insane! Oh!
Bro, wait. Davert was dead? I thought he's stunning the Sultan. Okay, so the Sultan's chill. All right, we're good. We're good. You know, I hate to say it, but I was really nervous during that. Ooh. So Saps couldn't even tell his country what happened. I don't like that. I really don't like that ending. I'm not gonna lie. He just let them to it so they could literally all be taken out without any explanation. That's crazy. W? Wait. Oh, they're saying new president W.
Sultan's on his way back home, I think. What is happening?
That's what you get when you mess with the Sultan. Not gonna lie. Wait. Top 10 anime betrayals. That's crazy. I really did not expect that because we saw him going after his own brother, right? And the Sultan genuinely didn't do anything at that point, right? The Sultan didn't. That's kind of crazy. Let's just keep playing, dude. I don't even know what to say. That shocked me.
Oh boy. Angry about the death of his brother Davert, Zamta betrayed and killed the Sultan storming hell in what he called an act of revenge. All of a sudden, within the span of a few minutes, storming hell, Saps, and Davert were all dead. Both the Sultanate and Theria were without a leader, and the desert island was in a state of total confusion.
Well, I feel like Saps didn't have that great of an approval rating. Did you watch the chat? Everyone was like, new president W, WW.
Now, because the Sultanate didn't have a solid line of succession, there was a short power struggle that ended with the Sultanate getting completely dissolved. Sorry,
I had to take a break, and after that, it was such a revelation. Plus, I'm drinking a lot of liquid and have to go pee every 5 seconds. My gosh.
Completely dissolved.
That's why if you've noticed, like 3 or 4 cuts in this video, I'm drinking a ton of liquid. That's the problem.
On day 9, the second most powerful nation in the world had fallen, and most of the Sultanate's citizens ended up fleeing. That being said, it wasn't totally the end. Some who were still loyal to the late Sultan decided to form their own militias, whose only goal was to track down Zamta and avenge the Sultan.
We are called.
You know, you really gotta respect the commitment. They could have went and joined any nation, but no. Like, they could have went to the Winter Kingdom, but no, they gotta do their duty to their leader first. I respect that a lot.
By our divine leader, to kill the dirty traitor. Mashallah.
Theria, on the other hand, didn't dissolve and instead elected a new leader, a player named Jofiel, who was well liked and trusted in the community. Still, the people of Theria would continue to live in a state of fear, afraid they would be invaded by one of the new desert militias. Also, they would never find out why their founder Saps jumped off the Therian tower, which he did
because he was a criminal. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think Saps might be the worst leader in this whole video. Hot take, right? And I'm sorry, I get it, they're just playing characters, and that's what I'm doing, right? And at the end of the day, Saps, he tried to execute a assassination. It did not work, and he wasn't even a part of it. He sent someone else to do his dirty work. And then instead of being honest to his tribe, he just took himself out. That is, terrible leader, terrible leader.
Because of guilt. After he saw Daveret die, Saps believed that the Sultan would invade and destroy Theria, and he
I look at it as a story. See, that's why I keep emphasizing that, because people take things so deep these days, when literally I am not a serious person at all. I genuinely take very little serious. So, like, I feel like people just be doing too much these days, not gonna lie.
Felt too ashamed knowing that he would be responsible. It was only thanks to Zamta that the invasion didn't happen. The death of the Sultan sent shockwaves throughout not just the desert, but the whole world. Many nations went on lockdown, including the Akulon Empire. While they technically weren't allies, Emperor Olanilo had always admired Sultan Storminghel's strong authoritarian leadership. So after the lockdown, Olanilo sent his diplomats to the desert to offer support to the Sultanate.
W. Elanio, respect the Sultan. I respect that a lot. Jeez. W. Elanio.
Militias.
Not gonna lie, I feel like the Sultan was probably my favorite character.
Time on the Plains Island, Drip Chicken of Los Pollos Hermanos was watching the desert from afar, and he was worried about these rumored desert militias. Because Drip Chicken was from the desert, he was able to educate his customers in Plains about the politics of the desert, and after Saps's death, he encouraged Sidefall to send diplomats to Theria quickly, and Sidefall did just that. On day 9, Theria officially joined Seth and all the Plains nations in the refugee state contract, and what originally started as a simple refugee agreement.
Okay, so we're supposed to make Elanio the big bad guy, but literally we have the whole world teaming up, right? And I'm assuming since Elanio is the only, like, I guess, real country that could go against him left, is the only one that's gonna happen. Because we do have the militias, but the militias seem just sent on revenge for the Sultan, which I respect a lot, but, like, they be doing too much, not gonna lie.
Between Seth and Sidefall had now turned into a worldwide alliance called the Alliance of Democratic Nations, or put simply, the Allies.
That's quite funny.
As the people of the Akulon Empire continued their daily routines, the highest-ranking officials of the Empire gathered to discuss the new existential dilemma they were now facing. The Akulon Empire had always been the most powerful nation in the world, and it still technically is, but when adding together the populations of all the states in the Democratic Nations Alliance, it is the allies that have more people overall. This made Akulon officials extremely worried. They saw this as the—
Well, I would be. I would think that's a declaration of war. I'm not gonna lie, because Elanio realistically hasn't done anything bad to anyone. He hasn't really taken out anyone. He hasn't went after these other nations. But no, they're all teaming up on the preemphasis, and they're using the death of the Sultan to really put this together. And this is what's very sad is, right, the Sultan died, and now they're saying, oh, we're scared of the mercenaries, when the mercenaries made it very clear they are just after the guy that murdered the Sultan. So I feel like this is kind of wrong.
First legitimate threats to the regime. Alanulo agreed with this view, but at the moment, his attention was on another problem entirely, the problem known as A Freakin' Turkey. A Freakin' Turkey's rise to popularity had always bothered Alanulo, but now this conflict was at an absolute breaking point because yesterday, one of Alanulo's spies caught A Freakin' Turkey helping snow citizens flee the Empire. Fleeing or defecting was strictly against Aculon law. Alanulo's spy also saw A Freakin' Turkey hanging out with not just Sidefall, but nearly all the major planes leaders, which made a lot.
Yeah, that's very traitorous, especially since they used the death of the Sultan to build the allyship, and now they have a turncoat? I'm not gonna lie. A Freakin' Turkey, he's doing too much. He really is. I wouldn't blame Alanulo if he questioned him or, like, banished him or whatever.
What do you think? Is A Freakin' Turkey planning something? Is he secretly working with the allies? Is he about to orchestrate a full-scale revolution, or...
Well, think about it, especially since he is genuinely helping people go join the Plains land. It doesn't make any sense.
An invasion of the Aculon Empire?
And that's your right-hand guy. It's kind of like, if you've stayed this much for the video, right, you're gonna get hit with some ball knowledge, right? So, Thrag, you could say, Thrag, genuinely, I do not like Thrag. I think Thrag is a one-lensed villain. However, General Craig, wait, spoilers ahead, if you haven't watched Invincible, just like skip 20 seconds. But General Craig, he literally was one of the first to switch up on Bro, and that was his day one. Craig was like one of the younger ones, but he was so valued that he was the right-hand man. And yet your day one, already when they hit like regular Earth, Craig was switched up. He already had the tank top, the motorbike. Bro was gone. Bro left the Viltrumite Empire before they even hit the ground. He binged Sons of Anarchy and ditched the dude.
These were all questions that Alanulo was wrestling with, and the more he thought about it, the more he convinced himself that A Freakin' Turkey was probably committing some sort of treason and needed to be stopped. Yesterday, A Freakin' Turkey had—
Why are we making him out to be a mad king? This is very realistic thinking, right? Your number one guy is talking to the enemy who is literally teaming up with the Pre-Impus for no reason, because they're saying, oh, it's these mercenaries, and these mercenaries made it very clear they're after the Sultan's killer. They're not after anyone else. And now a group is larger than you? That is a declaration of war. It really is, especially since you haven't done anything bad. And your right-hand man is working with them? Nah.
Reached out to Alanulo for a meeting, and today Alanulo accepted this request, but with a few conditions. 1, this meeting takes place at the Aculon Castle. 2, Turkey comes alone. And 3, the meeting takes place not today, but tomorrow, because Alanulo needed some extra time for his builders to finish a certain project located on the top of the Aculon Castle. Nobody knew why or what the strange-looking tower was, but
yeah, that is a bit strange, not gonna lie. I don't think A Freaking Turkey should go there, not gonna lie.
Alanulo insisted it be completed by the time Turkey shows up.
Tomorrow is certainly going to be interesting, so make sure everyone's ready.
Lastly, later in the day, Alanulo sent diplomats to establish alliances with both the desert militias and with the sea people in the jungle. Alanulo appreciated the sea people's value of order, and he promised that he will help them stop the chaos in the jungle and help them catch their #1 most wanted criminal, Wazak. The sea people accepted this alliance, but they ended up not needing Aculon's help because late into day 9, Wazak decided to turn himself in.
I'm not gonna lie, Bro was probably really bored because he was like in the ground, right? I'd be bored too, I get it.
He's about to be executed. A guilty conscience, perhaps.
All right, Wazak, I understand you have a prepared statement. You may now read your final words.
Yes, thank you. Hello everyone, it's your old friend Wazok. In the beginning, I wanted to rule the world. But I've made some bad decisions. And now, it's my time to go.
You killed innocents. Not making speak.
If there's one thing I've learned, is that time can never be your trusted friend.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's dead.
Long live the jungle.
That's quite sad, don't get me wrong. Like, Wazok, right, Wazok might have been my favorite side character. He was pure chaotic neutral. I respect that. I respect Wazok quite a bit.
After deciding that being a criminal in hiding isn't how he wanted to live, Wazok instead chose to face his inevitable death on his own terms, and by doing so, he gave the jungle one last moment of unity.
Anyone else jumping?
The conflict between the two major jungle tribes was still unresolved, especially now that they were in opposing alliances, but for this brief moment, there was peace in the jungle. Well, that was fun. Everyone's coming down the tree now. Most nations around the world took the end of day 9 to rest and reflect on how far they've come. For example, the jungle's Blue Cross tribe celebrated becoming international, with at least one charity location on each island. Meanwhile, in the desert, the two—
I'm surprised the Blue Cross got into the Winter Kingdom. That's kind of crazy.
Sultanate militias held a funeral for the late Sultan, where they vowed to get revenge and chanted death to Theria, after which they proceeded to finish building the Sultan's holy city in his honor. Theria, on the other hand, expanded its reach into the—
That's quite nice. That is quite nice. Give a hand to the mercenaries. That's quite nice.
Arts,
Respect the
became
Sultan.
the first civilization to develop music. Oh. Lastly, on the Plains Island, businesses were booming and civilizations were thriving. On day 9, the Plains Island had finished the construction of the ISH, the International State Highway, which made trade and transportation between the major Plains nations much faster. Overall, the building and architecture and player creativity in Plains was simply amazing, and it was all made possible by the political—
I'm not gonna lie, my favorite— I will say this, like, genuinely, I'm kind of just memeing with the Sultan, but no, he is my favorite character, don't get me wrong. But I will say that the Desert Kingdom, in my opinion, by far has the best construction.
Stability of the Plains Island. Many in the desert and jungle and snow looked at Plains as the shining beacon that they can aspire to be like one day.
I highly doubt that Snow looked at them like that, but, you know, maybe I'm wrong.
As the end of the day approached, a freaking
Is this with shaders on? Because it looks amazing, dude.
Turkey returned to the Plains Tavern after spending the day traveling around the world, visiting civilizations in the jungle, the deserts, and of course the Plains Island. During many of his visits, he was very surprised when he found out that most people from these foreign nations not only knew about him, but admired him. This was because rumor had spread about his disobedience to Elanulo, and as a result, he had earned a worldwide reputation as the savior of refugees, the honorable rebel, the man who stood up to the emperor, and everywhere a freaking turn.
The issue is, I'm not seeing much emperor going on. We haven't heard of many executions in the Winter Kingdom other than that one dude at the beginning on a freaking Turkey's orders. And yet he's going around saying, oh, I'm the savior to the kingdom. It's like, what are you saving, dude? Just saying. Just saying. Hot take.
He went, he was welcomed with open arms. By the way, I think he would have been perfect for that.
Yeah, I heard there was a comedy show here. You should have called me over.
When it came to the Aculon Empire, the truth was, a freaking turkey had no intention of causing any type of uprising or revolution. In fact,
That's just
he
not
was
true.
strictly...
That is just not true. I'm sorry, it's not. Because when you're going around to clear enemies and people think that Elanulo is some crazy dictator, you're gonna look bad. You're genuine, and especially if you're helping people escape the country. Even if you think it's right or not, you are definitely trying to start something. Intentionally or not.
Against the idea, knowing just how devastating a major war would be. But he did want change in the Empire. During his prolonged stay in Plains, he had seen what freedom and democracy look like. He had come to regret his more tyrannical actions in the early days, and he now envisioned a reformed Aculon Empire. His new dream was to bring democracy to Snow, bring freedom to the people of the Aculon Empire, and make the Snow refugees feel safe to come back home.
I might just be overly optimistic, but I think we can achieve world peace.
Okay. If a freaking turkey is able to convince Elanulo to convert the Empire from a tyrannical dictatorship into a free democracy, and then the Aculon Empire ends up joining the Allies, then world peace wouldn't just be a far-fetched idea for wishful thinkers. It would actually happen. With this massive goal in mind, a freaking turkey prepared for tomorrow for his big...
In all fairness, it's not looking good for my boy a freaking turkey here, because Elanulo was like, hey, you know, come alone and wait a bit. We have a structure being built. We're totally not going to do anything to you. Promise, promise, promise. It's just like, what? Hey.
Meeting with Elanulo.
I wonder though, I feel like during something like this, I feel you have to know you're gonna be taken out. Especially when someone tells you, oh, you're not coming, come here alone, we're building a structure, just wait. Like the player, of course, to keep with the story, you're gonna just play through the motions. But I feel like as a player, a freaking turkey know it's gonna go bad.
Just remember everything we talked about. We'll be watching.
Before a freaking turkey took off for the Snow Island, he had met with the 4 major Plains leaders one last time to tell them what he hopes to achieve in his upcoming talk with Elanulo. The Plains leaders were pessimistic. See, when they heard about Elanulo's strict conditions for the meeting to take place, they suspected that this was going to be the meeting where Elanulo removes Turkey from his second-in-command position, or worse, puts Turkey in Aculon's prison.
You know, it'd be hilarious. If Aculon has a prison, imagine getting locked up day 1. And that's your whole game? Do you even log on at that point? I doubt it. What, you're just gonna sit there in prison? It's like, I don't know if you remember the Dream SMP. I was quite a watcher of that. And I never really watched Dream's perspective. I was like, is Dream just in the prison? Like, yo, what's up guys? I'm in the prison, just chilling. Well, guess what we're doing today? Waiting. Like, didn't Dream get thrown in the prison?
Whatever happens today, the Plains leaders promised Turkey that he has the full support of the allied nations. Even if they can't attend the meeting, they will be watching and will do whatever they can to help him. There we go, Turkey is now back on the Snow Island. I think he's going to the meeting right away.
Yeah, it's not gonna go well for my boy Turkey. I'm just predicting it now. Yeah, you're getting thrown in prison, buddy.
This is weird. Turkey's been at the castle.
I was kind of rating the Desert Kingdom's construction, but the Winter Kingdom's construction's cold, dude.
For like
literally
minutes now, and Elanulo's nowhere to be seen. Oh, he's right here. He's on his way.
He not underground? I thought he was always underground.
Here we go. Everyone's here now. I think everyone's here now. Knights come to the castle. Wow, I think these are all the high-ranking officials of Aculon. They're all here.
Hear ye, hear ye. All barons, Duke Turkey, and fellow knights have now come together to speak with Emperor Elanulo. Elanulo, would you please start the conversation?
Wait. Turkey, hold up. So before we begin, sorry to interrupt. I have a special thing I want to do real quick.
Wait.
Here.
Drew, not yet. I want to do something first. Turkey, can you sit on the throne for a second?
No, I know what he's doing. He's doing the classic. Oh yeah, what? You want to be the king? You know, why not just take the king? Nah, bro, this is kind of crazy. If he does that, that's cold. I will literally get chills. This is genuinely one of my favorite videos I've ever seen. By the way, this is sick.
Why?
Just do it.
Okay. What are we doing?
What is happening?
Can I trust you, Turkey?
Yeah?
You like
What?
this, right? Sitting on the throne?
You put me on here. I don't know what you're talking about.
In front of all these people?
What are you getting on about?
I know that you've...
Bro, I genuinely got goosebumps. Why is this like a movie? Like, I'm genuine. This is crazy.
Colluded with the Plains Alliance. And I know that you want to take over this nation. Take this throne for yourself.
Whoa. What?
There's nothing you can do at this point to convince me that you're not plotting a revolution against me. I caught you red-handed.
No! Elanulo! Yes, I've talked with Plains. I've also talked with Desert and Jungle. I am a diplomat. And I'll tell you this, all those people that I talked with will become our allies the moment we turn this place into an actual democracy.
Why are you secretly leading people off my island?
Because they thought you were going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, so did I. So that's the point of this meeting. You want to get rid of me? You know what? How about I just leave, and you won't have to deal with me again? I'm just gonna go, okay?
Yeah, and then you'll come back with an army. I'm sorry, Turkey.
The trap, I expected him to throw him in prison or something, but I didn't expect the trap to be on the throne. That's crazy. I genuinely wonder what's going through like the player's head, because of course, like I said, they're putting on, like they're playing their character, playing their role, and you kind of pick your role at the end of the day. But my point is, like, do you think like a freaking Turkey had to know that he wasn't gonna make it out of it? I'd assume, right? Like if you get a message, oh, don't wait to come here, you're cooked, dude. Literally, you're a cooked turkey.
Wow.
Valid crash out, maybe? Was that a little much? Maybe. Can I see it from Elanulo's side? Also, yes.
Oh! Wait, they're killing Turkey's supporters! They're hunting down his supporters as well! This is
okay. I don't know if I could defend this, but in all fairness, they could have done an uprising, maybe. Who knows?
Crazy. Like that, there was a purge on the Snow Island, and many of Turkey's supporters were killed. The few who were able to escape immediately swam to the other islands to tell everyone exactly what happened.
I just saw some swimming towards the Desert Kingdom. Maybe you don't want to go there, buddy.
And all of the knights started executing Bernie, Ender, Turkey,
Like Order
assassinated
66?
some of the most loved members of Akalon.
When A Freakin' Turkey's death message appeared in chats, people around the world were outraged, and shortly after, the leaders of the allied nations started activating their militaries, putting them on standby.
Turkey once visited Los Pollos Hermanos. I'm giving the army chicken for 50% off to make sure they're ready for battle.
Meanwhile, Eladio got word that the allies were preparing their armies, so he declared a full lockdown, reached out to his own allies, and called them to the Akulon castle to be ready in case the allies declare war. And sure enough, when the Blaze leaders talked with Theria and Seth, the vote was unanimous. On day 10, the Alliance of Democratic Nations officially declared war on the Akulon Empire.
I just want to say,
See, again, the allies are the ones initiating the war. I get Turkey was a beloved member of their group, but at the end of the day, Turkey was a member of Akulon Empire. Say what you will, but that's just Akulon Empire, like, that's their politics.
wish you luck and great success. Hopefully, we all see some of you tomorrow to sign the Constitution of the new Akulon Republic, the new Akulon Republic that we all dream about having. Thank you. Thank you all.
This isn't about us. This isn't about Arlon. It's about getting justice for Turkey and ridding the world of tyranny.
All the allied nations met up at the center island.
Zamta, the traitor to the Sultan? Yeah, that's probably why the mercenaries joined.
So they could attack the Snow Island together.
Today, we fight for revenge.
Nah, we got a Viking and we haven't gotten reports on him? That's kind of crazy. Like, we got a literal Viking in the lobby.
We fight for freedom.
I do kind of like that bro is not in the whole video, and yet he got the charge speech. That's appreciated. That's appreciated. I don't know though. They're attacking Akulon. Who knows? Maybe Akulon could pull this off. I'm pretty sure they're outnumbered. However, they've got like the Russia thing. You know what I mean? You don't attack Russia in the snow. Just saying.
But little did the allies know, Eladio had set a trap. The Akulon builders had taken inspiration from history and created what they called the Iron Torch, the most advanced defensive tower in the world, complete with dangerous height,
Yo, that's so sick. Genuinely so cool. I don't know how you could be watching this and like not think that bro has aura. Bro genuinely has aura.
Walls, arrow slits, and lava cover. This is crazy.
I was told that the second one was better than this, but I'm not gonna lie, there ain't no way. There ain't no way that it's better than this. Because how are you gonna beat this? The Iron Torch? That's sick.
They're here.
Time can never be your trusted friend or your sworn ally. No, it's the harshest.
Why is this such a good cinematic? My gosh. I'm not gonna pause it anymore, I promise. Because I want to see this final battle in one go.
And life is just a
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna breach that though.
Spent 1,000 hellos and goodbyes. Maybe a love like ours can lead out its call.
They should have used Obsidian.
We'll keep you near until
they're breaching it. That's kind of crazy. I didn't think they would. Yo, the strats? Alright, I didn't say, I said I wasn't gonna pause it, but, you know, at least give a hand, right? The Sultan, got respect for the Sultan. You gotta remember, I'm a memer, okay, right? I'm a pick. Just so you know, if you ever have me watch videos like this, I'm gonna pick my people and I'm gonna rock with them, okay? So even if they're the bad guys, I am gonna rock with them, just so you know. So if you like take it that serious, just don't.
They're dropping lava on them.
Watch out for the areas. Keep going.
Yeah, I don't know if the second one could top this. This is cold. Who put down the TNT? Because I'm gonna be honest, if that was Iwanuo's empire, I feel that was a terrible strat. Oh, he's got a water bucket. He's got a water bucket. It's fine.
What?
Elanulo died! Yes!
Okay, I read the chat. It said common Aculon L. I'm pretty sure they were outnumbered, and they had a 6 strategy. At the end of the day, it's not a common L. It's a very rare L, guys. Let's chill with the common L. You know, you're just on the side of the winners, but that doesn't mean it was a common L. They were literally so cool. Did you not see their hierarchy?
Soon
I guess
after
they didn't,
Elanulo died, the Aculon Empire officially surrendered.
Wait, Aculon's officials say they surrendered? Still kill them.
But even though Aculon surrendered, the allies didn't stop fighting. No mercy, no.
See, are they really the allies? Are they the good guys? I don't know.
No mercy. They're all saying no mercy.
They attacked. They didn't stop. Look at this.
Like
this
that,
is slaughter.
There was a purge on the Snow Island, but this time it was the supporters of Turkey doing the killing. This is just an absolute slaughter fest.
Not the British lobster or the British shrimp.
After a while, the Allies had completely taken over the Iron Torch, and all the Aculon forces had either been killed or had fled the island.
Is this the bad
and
ending,
gone into
guys?
hiding.
Can we get the
And
good
with
ending,
that,
please?
the Alliance of Democratic Nations had defeated the Aculon Empire. It was only when the war ended and the clouds parted that the Allies were finally able to reflect on what they had done. They had succeeded, but they had also shown no mercy.
Did they succeeded? What do you mean? They literally started the war. They purged an entire country. My gosh, this is far from the Allies.
When their enemy surrendered, they continued to be ruthless and thirsty for blood. It was as if they had become their enemy. As the Allies each safely returned to their homes, now with a clear mind, many of them felt regret. Neither side was completely innocent, and the war was complicated. But at least it was over. And the Allies had won. Over the next few days,
Did you just see that? Like, most of the Acheron Empire was wiped out, and that was only like 200 people. So let's add another 100 just for funsies to say that there was 100 people on their side. Still, they would have at least 100 more people. The Allies literally had so many numbers against them. It's kind of unfair.
the people of Plains, Theria, Seth, and a few smaller nations created a world alliance with a massive parliament building on the center island.
That's
where
a
world
nice
leaders met
building, not
to
gonna lie.
discuss the affairs of their nations, and most importantly, to keep the peace. And the first order of business was pardoning the few living players who fought for Aculon, so they didn't have to live in hiding.
See, it's not even 100. I would say genuinely the Acheron Empire maybe had like 250, 300 people. And there was what, 500 people? I'd say it was like easy 450 to 300.
Meanwhile,
there was like
the
7
snow
something, right?
refugees were able to move back to the snow island and create the new Aculon Republic, putting democracy in snow. They also tore down the remains of the Iron Torch and put in its place a graveyard honoring all who died in the Battle of Aculon. And overlooking the graveyard was the man, or turkey, who inspired them all.
Cold statue though. Cold statue. I can't even hate. Can't even hate.
And
Not gonna lie.
so, the jungle went back to hosting comedy shows, the desert went back to pursuing the arts, and Drift Chicken went back to running Los Pollos Hermanos.
And the
After
best-
all
best
that
side
happened
story, not gonna lie,
throughout
though.
the days, things were finally settling down. For many players, the newfound
Hey,
peace
I wonder if Los Pollos Hermanos is still dealing in that, you know.
allowed for new stories to begin. But for us, it's a good place to end.
Yeah, well, if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And I'm sorry that if it ran a bit long, but my gosh, this was an amazing video. I would love to see part 2. If you want to see that, let me know. Like I said, genuinely like one person saying they want to see that. I'll watch it. And heck, even if you don't, I'm probably gonna watch it by myself. But if you want me to film it, let me know. I'll see you next time. Bye!